Okay, part 2 here, the GMC roof resealing. We're going to pick up where we left off, drilling and tapping holes for those side rails. We did that because we swapped the two sides because of all the broken screws when we were removing them. Alright, what we got going on here is we got the driver's side rail moved over to the passenger side. I already drilled and tapped one hole, and that's where you see the screwdriver. I'm using that hole just to hold the rail up so that I can mark all the other holes. So I'm drilling a little bit just to kind of mark the spot, and then I'll use the marker here to mark it. And then I'll take the rail back off and really drill the hole fully out and tap it. So trying to go slow and keep the drill perpendicular to the rail that I'm drilling into. I'm also trying not to go too deep, because if I go too deep I actually go through, which is not the end of the world, but more chances to leak. So. For tapping the hole, start with some oil and try to keep the bit directly onto the hole, or directly straight up and down, and go slow. Let the bit do the work, do the cutting, and back out frequently to clear the metal shavings. And it's pretty straightforward. We're cutting into aluminum here, so it's fairly easy. So pretty straightforward. You can see I also build up almost an assembly line process here of drilling, tapping, and then making sure to run the screw all the way down to to make sure it's deep enough. 'Cause at least once or twice I realized I didn't go deep enough, and so you gotta fix. And so we end up with our bolt holes. Obviously this is one that broke, and in this case I didn't do anything to clean it up. It sheared off right where it is. I chose to install the butyl tape directly to the rail off the motorhome, and that's what I'm doing here. And you can see I left a little overlap or overhang or whatever you want to call it at the end. That's for the cap, the end cap. So I just leave a little, and I'll end up cutting some of that off. I used these studs at either end to help get the rail up there by myself, and then it was just a matter of getting the screws in. You see, I chose to use these washers that have a rubber backing. I'm not sure if I like them in the end, but maybe they'll help keep water out where the screws are. And we do the same thing to the other side. It's finally getting warm. Love it. And working with aluminum is nice. It's pretty soft. And I've used the same drill bit and same tap the whole time. I haven't, thankfully, broken a drill bit or a tap. And the big benefit is I did not need to try to drill out all of the broken screws. That would have been a nightmare. So the only negative of this swapping the two rail process was that every single hole was misaligned between the two rails except for one. One hole on each of them was lined up. And of course, as Murphy would have it, that hole on each side was one that was broken. So for those two holes, I moved the hole over a 1/2 inch and just drilled a new hole in both the rail here, or this piece here, but also the rail, and then I'll go back in and fill the rail. That was my initial thought before I decided to swap the two rails. I was thinking I would have to go through, and for each of the broken holes, I was just going to move that hole over 1/2 inch and then drill a new hole in the rail and fill the old hole, and that would have worked too. That would have saved me on tapping. I wouldn't have had to tap near as many holes. But then I would have had to fill, which isn't that hard. So I think either way works. The other way is to shift the whole rail, and that was my third idea, was to avoid drilling out the broken screws, was to shift the whole rail either forward or backward by 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. The problem with that is it leaves the end caps not where they originally were, and and when I looked at it, it did expose some of this seam on either the front or the back if I moved it like 1/2 inch for sure. So I didn't really like that approach. So come back next time. I'll talk more about some of the materials I use and how I'm actually sealing some of the different parts, and how I'm repairing some of the holes that I'm coming across or making myself, and we'll keep going.
I do like the sun.